For this. Yeah, we started this conversation, guys, midway through here of Kenzen, Niken's Kenzen clarity, because we're some of us on this call are having moments, forgetful moments, and I just said, "Hey, who's taking clarity?" Because since taking clarity, things are different. So we've had one person share. Wes, what's your take on it?
Well, one of the first things I noticed is that I'm not inclined to put things off the way I used to. I
Ah,
mean, I think about doing something, I just go do it. It's, that's great, and it only took one a day to do it.
that's
Really
cool.
awesome.
That is really good, Dr. Karen.
Yes. Okay. I had a brain fog when I first got into Nikan. And I lived with that brain fog, even though I was using the technologies and some of the nutritionals that were available then. And somebody mentioned, one of the consultants mentioned to me, I mentioned it to her, and she mentioned to me, oh, you've got to take Clarity. So I started using the Clarity. Within 3 days, my brain fog was gone, and it has not returned. And I take it daily. And usually I just take one. I started out taking two.
Okay, that's good because I take two, and I that's my experience of it so far. Is that my mental acuity? I feel sharp as a tack when I take it.
Mhm. Yeah. And in answer to Lynn's question about is it distractions from grandkids? I have 5 grandkids, okay? And I using the Clarity really helps. But every once in a while, because my brain works so fast, I get distracted. Sometimes I distract myself, sometimes something else distracts me. So, but it helps.
I call it too many moving parts.
Yes.
There's too
All
much
those
going
gears
on.
are going. Yeah.
Barbara.
Yes, before my surgery in April, I had to go off the Clarity. That was at the surgeon's request. So I went off it. Then I had the 2 surgeries a day apart. And my brain fog was absolutely as thick as one car length. Let's put it that way. It was just really, really thick. I couldn't think of anything. And he didn't say to me when I could go back on it. So 2 days after my 2 surgeries, I went back on the Clarity, and within 3 days, the fog was totally gone. So I take it every day. And there's a lot going on right now, but the Clarity helps me stay focused on my tasks at hand.
Thank you. Let me tell you guys, I mean, we're not, that's not what this call is about, but since this is a business call, I want you to think about any number of Instagram or Facebook ads you see when somebody starts talking, they start rattling off, and you know they're pitching something, you know there's a pitch coming, but you hear them talking, and they draw you in because it sounds actually kind of interesting what they're talking about, problems that we can relate to and whatever. Can you imagine this conversation, any one of us or a group of us throwing that kind of compelling conversation out there into the cyberspace through our Instagram and Facebook and whatnot? You could build a company just on this one product, and that's the truth. You could build. I mean, most of the large, let's just call them drug companies, they have built their huge repertoire around, usually it's one product that just launched these guys into the stratosphere. We could build a company around getting your brain fog, eliminating brain fog. I mean, just, it's not a medical claim. I don't think brain fog is a medical term, but I mean, say it long enough, they'll probably try to capture it. But the idea here is we have so many amazing products that need their own time and attention in order for us to really truly appreciate the value that they bring into our life. And of course, if you don't try it, you're never going to know. But we want to do this on purpose. We don't want to do this by accident or by osmosis. We want people to actively get into our products and to actively participate in auto ship. and to build an auto ship following of consumers and consultants who are actively using the Nikken nutritionals, because they are unquestionably some of the finest nutritionals in the marketplace. And like I said, you could build just from these few stories that you've heard, how many of you are now kind of inclined to think about maybe taking the mental clarity yourself, right?
I do take, yeah.
Because it's a real game changer, and you won't know until you try it yourself. That's when you're going to go, wow, that's okay. I'm starting to pick up on this, and it's not going to slam you in the face. It's just something you're going to notice where you're not going to have that brain fog. You're just not going to have that absent-mindedness, or you're going to be a little bit more alert. I find what I find is I'm more alert. There's an alertness that I have that I didn't have before that. So I guess you could say it's lifted my brain fog. Do you have another comment, Barbara?
Yeah, I was just thinking of another term for brain fog, which might be considered a medical term. You could just call it, I was fuzzy headed. I mean, how are they going to define that as a medical term? And the thing is, with the clarity, I'm more aware of what's going on around me before it's close.
There's some
to
really
me.
powerful stuff in that.
It's like an instinctive thing.
Yeah, is ashwagandha? Is that one of the things that are in there?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently that's like a super food, right? Dr. Gary. And by the way, I was also saying why the reason, maybe that's what you're going to pick up on, why the Wednesday night calls are so valuable. Dr. Gary.
I'm really looking forward to, with the Wednesday night calls, we're starting with major categories. Then we're going to get into individual products. And I'm really looking forward to that, because that's something that we can text, social media, and drive traffic to that Wednesday night for that individual product. So that's very exciting. So cool. And mental clarity is a great example. PCC is another great example. So yeah.
Totally. So, and honestly, because we have such an amazing, we've always had this challenge in this as a business, because our products are so amazing. It's hard not to talk about our products, but at the same time, there's so many of them. It's hard to talk about any one of them. So we tend to generalize. And while that may be useful to attract some attention, if you want to turn that attention into actual sales or auto ship subscriptions, it's got to be more than just attention grabbing. It's got to be compelling. And so to be able to have this platform to communicate very compelling testimonials, which, facts tell, stories sell. So the stories are going to become very, very important to this process of helping people get more deeply involved in the product line and more likely to become auto ship consumers of our nutritionals as that starts to become more and more of a conversation piece, which from a business point of view, I mean, you want to have a network that's growing, and at the same time, you want to have a network that's consuming. You're growing a consumer network, and that's the idea of growing volume and growing your income proportionately.
Turn the Wi-Fi off.
It's not about turning the Wi-Fi off. It's about turning people on. Whoever said that, you're on audio here. So let's get to our agenda tonight. Thanks for joining us. And this is kind of the official week of the last piece of the event schedule coming online, although we're going to give you some instruction about that because it's not an obvious thing. We don't want you on that call unless you have a guest who is really asking some questions about the business. So to make that time valuable for everybody, it's going to be a notification. We're going to have a notification process as to whether there is a live call happening. But the time slot is there. It's 8 p.m. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We've reserved that time slot for that powerful ABC on the business, provided there is a person there is a C requiring an ABC. So we're going to get into that tonight as to how that's going to work. How we're going to activate that. we do have a document that we'd like to share. Dave and I put the final touches on this today, which is just simply to help you just basically follow this concept. Pretty straightforward. Let me just share it with you. Here we go.
Is today Monday, Michael?
It is. Today's
That was
Monday.
a joke. That was a
Oh.
joke.
Okay, so, and this is the last week of the month, so we will digress to that agenda because the last week of the month is very specific in terms of the month-end strategy. We'll get to that. We just want to, so I'm going to share this document after the call in form of a PDF. And what you got here, as you can see, let me turn some of these screens off so I can actually see my screen. Okay, so what do we have here? We have our strategy for growth. Guys, this is our strategy for growth. This is going to be a collective experience, which is a necessary experience for us to get into the pattern of growth. We call it mining for diamonds because we do actually have an objective. We are looking for, we are hunting for, we are looking to identify one new huge leader or diamond in every state, province in North America. And that is what's going to contribute to the volume to move us from where we are to the $100 million. We're calling it the $100 million challenge for 2025. It also happens to represent NICAN's 50th anniversary, 2025. And this whole concept, this whole thing that we're laying out here pivots around this concept of social proof. So what is social proof? Social proof is an ABC, guys. Essentially what it is. Social proof in marketing context is evidence that other people have purchased and found value in a product or service offered by a business. Sounds kind of like what we started this call about, right? Share a few stories, get people excited about something, they want to try it themselves. That's social proof. Social proof is what we're leveraging when we talk about ABC, but we're doing it in a slightly different way because we're now doing it in a group context, which is not typical. When you're working with somebody exclusively, you usually work one-on-one, you do ABCs and so forth. But we're adding a layer to this because we feel that in order to move a large number of people all at the same time, we got to go into a group consciousness. We got to move as a group and start leveraging the group. So that's social proof. So we're calling it the Diamond Accelerator Team, in part because we have the We Accelerate program. And the people who plug into this are basically the Accelerate Team members. So this doesn't mean anybody is one. We just want to define some terms here so you understand who's doing what when. So who participates in this thing? So first of all, what's the point? The point is to get some acceleration going, to move some people faster in the compensation plan when they get started, and not to have them flatline, which tends to happen, right? How many of you experienced that? You get people involved, they maybe hit silver and completely flatline because we haven't teed them up to go gold. And not only that, but there wasn't a support structure in place for them to duplicate beyond their own personal efforts. We want to have a team leveraging a team experience. Leverage is the operative word here. So this 90-day getting started campaign will help somebody stay on the path, stay on the track, and keep working the path so that they can accelerate their business, get beyond gold. And so that's the objective. We want results, and the results have to, turn into people advancing through the compensation plan, or they're not results that are measurable, or that we need to measure that helps us establish momentum. So the people involved, there's the launch team, there are the A's. Now that launch team is going to consist of a number of people who are already on this call, high rank, diamonds and above, diamonds, royal diamonds, who are active, who are in the game. They're high achievers, they have strong leadership qualities, and they're respected by the field. So isn't that who you want? I'm sure that's who you want as your A. Gene, I'm just going to have to figure out how to mute you because your call is taking over here. Can somebody click on them? Oh, there you go. All right, so that's who your launch team is. So you're going to have A's that you can trust. A's that you can rely on, who will be able to competently deliver the message that you need delivered. The launch sponsor, that's any one of you. You are active in NECAN, and there's some things that we need you to be active on. Core nutrition. So you are on auto ship. If you're not going to be on auto ship, you shouldn't be on this call, and you shouldn't be on the business calls. Why? Because the business is about duplication of best practices. And if you're not a believer enough in your business or in your NECAN products to be on auto ship, then you shouldn't be teaching you're not going to be teaching best practices. Therefore, this call is not for you. So we're going to be a little bit hard-lined about this, because this is about duplicating success, aligning with success, not aligning with mediocrity, not aligning with failure. It's aligning with success, which means we're going to teach and duplicate best practices. We're going to emphasize that so that people develop a culture and they respect those best practices. 90% of the network marketing companies out there are auto ship companies. For us, it's kind of oh, by the way, yet we have some of the most powerful auto ship products there are out there. So we need to make it part of our core business. That's why it's the first point. Second, you as a launch sponsor have purchased or will purchase, in the process of being a launch sponsor, a pack. Any number of those packs, good, better, best. Why? Well, practice what you preach. And that's the rule of the game, duplication. ABC, you're available for ABCs. Why? Because if your key contact needs to reach out to you and get some information, or on the fly needs to be able to connect, you need to be available. That sort of goes without saying, and you probably would be anyway, but it's just one of those best practices rules. Follows the rhythm of the business, which is really what we are laying out here tonight, and we've laid out for the last month. What is the rhythm of the business? As far as the Accelerator team goes, it's the sequence of calls that allows you to flow somebody through an information process that gives them the information they need to make a decision. The kind of decision that we need them to make is not to get into NECAN. That's an easy decision to make. You don't need all of this. You don't need all this process. You don't need all these people to help somebody make a decision to get into NECAN. It's to make them to make a decision to succeed, to get involved in this as a business, to launch correctly, to use best practices, and to leverage the system to create results. That's the kind of decision we're asking them to make. Therefore, they need to kick the tires. They need to know, what is this system that you're selling me? They need to see it, and that's the rhythm of the business. They get to go through it for the first time as a prospect, and then they get to use it thereafter to help launch their business and expose others. So who is the launch partner? This is one of your new members or existing members who has invested some time. They're setting some time aside. So again, it takes time to build this business. We're putting a schedule here. We're putting our time into it. So it's going to take a launch which requires time, especially the first 90 days. So money. What's the money that we invest? It's the products, contacts. That's their real investment. It's their credibility and their contact list. And if they're not willing to put that together for themselves or you don't have a launch partner. You just have somebody who's joined NECAN. Active core nutrition consumer. Again, what is it that we want them to be duplicating? We need them to be doing. They've purchased good, better, best packs. Ideally, good is 1, better is 2, all 3 is ideal. And one of the things that, again, we're going to be talking about and emphasizing on your behalf when you bring people into this process is that is what we do. It's not going to be a stretch. It's not going to be a big ask. It's going to be an expectation, because that's how we do this business. If they want a cheaper business to get involved in, there's plenty of those. If they want the Rolls Royce, that's this. We're going to ask them to make 3 to 5 contacts a day, because anything less than that doesn't constitute a launch. It constitutes putting around. And if they want to putt around, they're not on the launch. Therefore, we'll be available in a different way. Plugs into the support system, which is the system that we're talking about right here. So what is the support system? It's a plug and play, guys. This is plug in and play. Tuesday is the opportunity meeting. Wednesday is brand night, where they learn more about products. Thursday is the business launch night where they learn how to kickstart their business. And Monday, this call is where they get their ongoing support for key strategy and so forth. Additionally, there's the monthly and quarterly events, the kickoff, Seiko Kai, Master Day, and we're going to do a month-end strategy call. So that call will be very specific to very specific needs. Let's say the team, somebody has somebody going gold or somebody has somebody going platinum. We're not going to treat that as a general call. That's going to be a laser focus call. That's when we get into what we call the war room and really help people put the pieces together, because those last 48 hours, 72 to 48 hours in somebody's platinum run are really, really fun, and they're really very specific. And so you've got some tools down here that you can click on. This is live. That'll take you to the links and this web page. If you haven't already seen it, abetterway.business, check it out. Linktree is all the ways you can connect to Niken. The Niken Connect, this is the old schedule. We haven't updated it yet because we need to get it updated.
Yeah, hey.
But there it's coming. Barbara, we can hear you if you can mute, please.
Done.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's see, let's move on. So here again is the schedule and a little bit more of the details of what's involved, what Monday night is about, what Tuesday night is about, and the Wednesday, of course, is the products, features, benefits, needs. This is the education validation piece of our business, and then the business launch. You can read all this. I'll have this available. Back up a second here. And then there's the links to join the calls. Now, at the moment, we do have one extra link. We hope to have a conversation about to streamline that. The Wednesday night has its own link, but we'd like to see if we can get the Wednesday night on the same link. Everybody has the same link to use to do these calls on Zoom. That's this platform, the one we're on right now, the royalalliance.com/live. That is Niken's Zoom channel. That's what we're using. Okay, this is a one-pager at the end. If you just want to send somebody new who's brand spanking new, an abbreviated, simple English to follow, this is the page I would send them. It's the last page, and it just tells you, hey, Tuesday's opportunity night, Wednesday's brand night, Thursday's business launch night, and Monday's aligning with success. Tells you who's doing what, and there you go. So that's the tool that I will send out on a PDF following this call. Any questions? Good? No questions. Yes, Gloria.
You said Monday night is this Zoom channel, and it was my understanding that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're all going to be the same Zoom link.
We're working toward that. We're
Okay.
working toward that. I had a call with Jeff today, and we're looking at maybe Life Balance call also being on this channel. So it's just one channel for everybody to remember. It's
Okay.
hard to remember a Zoom number, so you always have to share the link. But if you can just remember the URL, theroyalalliance.com/live, and the password is Niken1, then you don't have to remember anything else. You know what time the call starts, you know
Sure.
how to get into it wherever you are. So we're moving there. That's the ideal, and that's what we're working toward.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, good. So given Thursday night is a call that is for business prospects, meaning people who have kicked the tires in the first one or two calls, and they now want to sit down with a formidable who speaks with authority on the money side of the business and can speak on your behalf about how to get started in the most efficient way and answer any questions that they may have pertaining to the business, like from what is network marketing, maybe not what is, but how do you compare? I remember one of my first questions I got. So how is this different than Amway? I'm glad they asked that question because it gave me an opportunity to answer how it's different. And that really was a satisfactory answer to the people who were listening. So it's one of those calls where we're open to receive the Q&A and help close that prospect's mind concerning that this is a good thing to be involved in, with a call to action. the call to action that we want them to take is their investment of time, money, and contacts. Okay. They're going to be told those are the three ingredients that make this business go. The more time you have, good. The more money you have, good. The more contacts you have, good. You can start with a little and work your way up. Better to start with as much as you can. So there's good, there's better, there's best. Go for it. And that's kind of the encouraging position that we're gonna give. So here's how you join that call. What we have is I'm going to show it to you on my phone. It's easier for me to just access it. So what we have now is a new group. The group is for this month or this next month is called September Launch Partners. It's a new WhatsApp group, okay? Every month, this WhatsApp group, so right now you guys know Core Consultant, you know, primarily Core Consultant chat. This new chat, I'm going to share how you can join it. You can join it. I'll put it on the group chats. You can join it. In fact, I'm going to add this link before I send this PDF out. I'm going to add this link to the PDF so that it's going to be right there. Click it and it'll take you straight there too. The goal here is we want whoever is on the launch pad in September, for instance, to be in this group. So it's not a group you join once and you stay on forever and a day like every other channel. I clean it every month and we start September with September's group. We start October with October's group, November. This way, what we have is we have a short list of the people who are engaged in the rhythm, who are engaged in the launch. And then they can tell us if they have someone coming out on Thursday. And we're gonna cut it off at 6 p.m. So if we don't hear from you by Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern that you have someone showing up at the 8 p.m. call, well, we just won't have it. So you may show up on the call and find there's nobody there because we didn't have somebody schedule it. So it's a scheduled call, but that time slot is reserved and we're standing by to be able to be there for you if you have somebody that needs it. Now, to make, again, this duplicatable for the people who are not listening to this call, I'm going to add the link to that document. So I'm going to just add more tonight before I release it to you, that they should join that group, and it'll be the link if they're on the launch pad. So is there any question about that, how this works? So I'll just run it through you again. Let's say I've got somebody that I've got in the pipeline. They came on Tuesday night's call. They're liking what they're hearing. I invite them to Wednesday. Maybe they make it, maybe they don't, but they're definitely coming to Thursday because they want to know how does the business work? Show me the money. That's the question they have. So they come to the Thursday. Before they can come to the Thursday, I got to make sure Dave or me is available. And so we send a text message on that group chat that says, hey, I've got somebody for Thursday. And then we just confirm back, thumbs up or gotcha. And you know that we got you covered for Thursday. If that happens, Thursday happens. If that doesn't happen for anybody, Thursday doesn't happen. Now, we anticipate that you guys are all excited to build a business. Am I right, or am I talking to the right? Yeah. And so you're going to be excited to have people engaged because, I mean, look at you guys. Those of you who came on late, we started this call with a bang. You're going to have to watch the playback to know what we did because it was amazing. So you watch the playback, you missed a lot. And that's what we want. We want people to come into an experience and they're going to go, wow, these guys are happening. This stuff is exciting and they want to join. So assuming that is what's going to happen here with this collective effort of the group, we're going to have people on Thursday night because they're going to want to know, show me the money. How does the business work? Show us that. What do we need to do to get off the ground? And that content we have references to, but we don't have a set presentation to deliver. We have a presentation to draw from, but we're going to have to be responsive to who's there and the kind of questions they ask. So hopefully they'll be the kind of questions that are not like, how does the product work when, if I have, no, that's wrong question. So we want the business questions on that call. Any questions, Barbara?
And provided people do not book to have their prospect on your Thursday night call for 6 p.m., will you just put a short text into that particular new group saying call canceled?
I won't, yeah, I'll just say no call tonight.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
but it should be obvious because there won't be anybody actually asking for one. So, but I will. That's a good point to put up.
Well,
Again, we
I
want to
may
make,
not be asking for one, but I
Right.
don't know who else might be.
of course, good point. So we definitely want it to be the place, because every other chat right now is packed with people who are in the game, who are out of the game, who God knows where they are. We want this group to be dynamic, which means it's just who's in the game this month.
Exclusive.
We want to be focused on that effort. Lynn.
Just little clarification. Where do you expect that person to be in a process with us individually before we put them into the Thursday call?
They want to play.
Yeah.
All right. So that means we have qualified them to what extent? Like, give me a little bit an idea where we should have them in the process.
We're not going to be
of our-
introducing them to Niken. We're not going to
No.
be introducing them to the products.
Of course.
We're going to be answering questions that they should have now that they have been introduced to Niken, maybe the products, and they have some inkling of an idea that there is an opportunity that they can make some money with, and be part of, build a community with. They're excited to be involved in the game. They want to know, how does the game get played? How do you win?
Okay. All right. I was just thinking more if, let's say, they said, I'm interested to earn $5,000 a month. Would you like us to let you know that so that you will focus your presentation back?
That's good to know, because at that point in time, it's a very specific question. We might just say, hey, there's someone on the call who wants to make $5,000 a month. And then within the context of us sharing information about that, somebody who wants to make $500 a month will be satisfied. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Any other thoughts, questions, Dave?
Well, this I made some notes and are part of our discussion today, and I thought this would be an appropriate time. Typically, at the end of the month, the last Monday, which we are at right now, the focus would be on dealing with each of you that has a target that you're trying to reach, and then the direction would be, okay, what do you need to do to get to that, or here's some ideas to get it. Now, one of the things that we looked at in the past to understand what to do in the future was how the team supported the group, or how the group supported the individual. In other words, if everybody on this call, and I think there's a little over 30, there's 31 on the call. So if everybody on this call had a new prospect for tomorrow night's meeting, Tuesday night, then we'd grow to 60 people on that call. Now, the viewpoint that those 60 people would get is something's happening here. Now, if there were only 10 people on the call, then people are going to look at the call and say, well, what's happening here? So we want to change to what's happening, well, to this is happening. We want to get that agreement that there's something to really go for. Now, the other thing that we looked at, I went to an event on Saturday night, and it was an event called Drug Free World. And the idea of the event of Drug Free World was to provide information to educators about how to teach children about the use of drugs or not using drugs, because we have an epidemic in this country. There are over 70 million people on drugs. Now, this was an interesting story, because this is important, because this is part of where we can fit into what we're doing. They talked to one second grade teacher, and they said, well, we've got a laundry room. And then they said, well, why do you have a laundry room? He said, well, the kids come to school, they stink so much from marijuana because of their parents that we have to wash their clothes before we put them in the classroom so that it doesn't affect the other kids. And here we are, 2024 on planet Earth in the United States of America. So we have a problem. They had a problem. So they solved that problem, or they provided a solution, which then caused a huge attraction. And then I was talking to Mike today, and I said, this was like the beginning of Nikan. In the beginning, we had a void. And the void was we had a brand new product that would help individuals get rid of discomforts. It was the magnetic product. It had never been here before. There was a huge opportunity. And that void, we went out across the country, got filled very rapidly. So the idea of what we've got going here, which is so critical to this movement, is we have a void to fill. Now, being a part of the NFL, we've been on calls. The company did a survey. And what the survey showed is that the main focus of our attention for the past period of time is the wellness seeker, is the product user and the wholesale buyer. But the business guy is non-existent. So the void is this business opportunity that we can now present because of what we've got in the products and the technologies and the success that has already been created. And so by putting together this team, this group, this identity creates the support so that we can fill the void. And the void is education, understanding, and how to. And the survey showed that people didn't know how to communicate, didn't know how to approach other people, didn't know how to talk about the business, and therefore didn't do it. And of course, the marketplace is the key to what we've got to do. So now moving forward, this is the last month of the last week of the month. So the idea here is to, do whatever is possible, make those phone calls, reach the target, reach the goal, set the objective, which takes us back to the first week. Why it's so important to set the goal in the first week so that you've got a game to play. And then what we're doing in the sense of the support is to support each step of the way so that you can plug people into it. As we get this rhythm going, it's going to go lickety-split, lickety-split. We're going to go like a choo-choo train down that track, and it's just going to be an automatic. Now, we had people that set goals at the beginning of the month. It's now the last week, and tomorrow night is opportunity night. So what I am going to ask each and every one of you to do to play this game is bring on one person. Bring on one new person to opportunity night on Tuesday night. Mike's going to deliver it. I'm going to be there. We'll talk about economic stories, whatever. It's opportunity night. Remember that. So that we can then take them through the process. What's Wednesday night? This is when Sherry takes over with brand night. And we get to talk about the brands and the technologies and the success stories. And then from there, you get to close some people. And then if we get to close some people, then on Thursday night, we get to teach them how to start and build this business to get started so that they can come on this call on the following Monday and get jacked up for September. And what goal are we going to go for? Silver, gold, platinum, whatever. See, that's what we want to establish. Now, the other thing that's so critical here is we can't do this by ourselves. We have to do this as a group. You see, if we do it as a group, then as an individual, we'll grow like a weed. There's just no question about it. Because when we looked at our past, and we had this group, and we had this support, and people were winning, we'd get on these calls that we had at that time, Monday morning, because silver was 20,000 points, was who's going silver? And we'd have literally hundreds of people naming that they were going to go silver that month. Hundreds. And then it grew into who's going gold and then who's going platinum. And then we'd go to these quarterly events and we'd have thousands of people identifying themselves that they wanted to play and participate. But the group was so strong that gave the individual the confidence to stand up there and say, hey, this works. Hey, take a look. Hey, come to this meeting. It's awesome. So we got to get the ball rolling. We got to get it started. We got to get some traction so that we can iron out all the kinks. But I think we've got most of the kinks ironed out. We're pretty good. We've figured out how to do this. We've made gazillions of dollars over the years, and now we're ready, and we've got a void in the marketplace. The number one issue in this country is economics. People aren't making enough money. So we got to equip ourselves with how do we ask that question? Well, the way to ask that question is to have the answer. And if you don't have the answer, it's very difficult to ask the question. So now we're the focus on the weekend was to send out emails. I think it's a great idea. Just pound the phone, pound your internet, get out emails, send them out to as many people as you possibly can, because that's going to eventually cause some people to come back and ask you, well, what are you talking about? Well, what if that were business? What if it's, hey, does anybody out there need to make some extra money? And what if you had an answer and say, hey, you got to check out this call on Tuesday night. It's absolutely awesome. And then let us, because we've got so much experience, tell them what the opportunity is. And then once we got them enamored with the potential of the opportunity, I would just look at it, and you need to do this exercise because it's very important. But you've all heard the 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 going down 6 levels and how many people, and you end up with over 1,043. The opportunity of network marketing is leverage. And it's leverage by helping partnerships with other people that are doing exactly what you're doing, but you're getting paid on what they do as well. And if you don't, and the way to expand is by delegating. And you delegate by sponsoring other distributors. You're delegating them the responsibility to build a business for them, and you've been charged with giving them the opportunity to build this business. And as a result, you get a compensation, you get paid. And then then when you push it deep and you go down to the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, that's where the money is. It's on the 4th, 5th, and 6th level. And let me tell you, you got to draw this out. You got to play with it, because this is what we've got that's so unique that nobody else has. No other business, no other enterprise has this opportunity of a 6th generation, no frills. You don't have any tethers. You don't have any infrastructure costs. You don't have any HR costs. You don't have any personnel situations. It's brilliant. And again, having the experience, you could be in Paris and your business could grow like a weed. You can be on the lake. You could be fly fishing, so that's the opportunity that we have to get out there. We've got the support system to tell them about it. That's what you've got to understand. That's what you've got to look at. That's what you've got to talk about. And here's why. Because it's not about you. It's not about you at all. Because you don't get paid on what you do. You only get paid on what other people do. If you don't have other people, you don't get paid. It's really, 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 really quite simple. Now, as you know, I put out an email blast to everybody, and I have some Nikon distributors in my email list, and they caught wind of the email and what I'm doing. I'm trying to attract some attention. Obviously, I did, but I'm trying to attract attention on the area of network marketing. And on this Thursday, the 29th at 11 a.m., I'm having a broadcast roundtable with 5 different people, or 4 of us, 4 plus me is 5 different people from 5 different network marketing companies, not to talk about their companies, but to talk about network marketing, so that we get some validity that it's all over the place, that you can be successful. And when people are looking at this, it's like being an attorney. You got attorneys in every city, and they practice all kinds of law, and they're with all kinds of partners, and you got baseball teams and football teams. You got competition all over the place. Well, so do we. But what we really need to focus our attention on is to attract attention that this is a viable, highly successful, a lot of fun, a lot of joy in being successful in doing network marketing. You can live the life of lives. You ask Mike, and he's got that. I've had that. It's just truly unbelievable. And that's what we want to represent. Now, for those of us that love Nikon, that's the caveat on that's it. I mean, because we got the cake and we can eat it too, because we got the product line that nobody else has. So that's the focus. That's where we're going. That's why we want to do it. It's the last week of the month. So let's jam that line tomorrow night and have 35 guests on there so that we can really get this thing rocking and rolling and start off September with a bang.
Wow.
That's all I had to say, Michael.
Hey, well, there was a note I took from earlier today that you said, and I want to share with these guys because it sort of encapsulates what you're talking about. You said, individual participates in a team sport, and the growth of the team creates wealth, the wealth of the individual. That's our model. So the individual participates in a team sport. This is a team sport. And maybe until now you haven't felt like you were part of a team. That's possible. Or, you know, we've been sort of in and out of teams in NECAN, and it's possible you feel maybe that you've been, you know, sort of a lone ranger. I don't know if you remember that term, but that's one of the terms that we used to call it. Don't be a lone ranger. Participate in the team sport because it's a lot more fun. And not only that, but you leverage. And the growth of the team creates the wealth of the individual. That's how it works. So that's what this call to action is about for tomorrow night, is be a team player. Take your individual effort, bring somebody to the team sport, let them see how much fun this team sport is, how they can participate. And it's the growth of the team that creates the wealth of the individual. So let's do that. Let's initiate this properly with everybody making that pledge, making that commitment. So, Barbara, you have your hand up?
I do, Mike. One of the things that I think that we haven't been able to communicate is if a guest does come on board or that we're expecting a guest or that, you know, something to that effect. And so I had an idea, and maybe we can put it out there, but on our name on the Zoom, we could have a *1 or an *Sue or something after our name that just says, hey, we've got a guest coming on and here they are, and be excited, be the proud mama, you know, like the the one to have it. And it just lets you know, and the people that are hosting on or, you know, presenting on Tuesday, that there's a guest, or on Wednesday that there's a guest that is on, and that who they are connected to or what, that doesn't matter, but that there's a guest coming on board does matter. And so I think that was one idea I had, aside from putting things in the chat, but to just put something after your name, an asterisk, or you know, put your initials and then asterisk and who they are. But I just thought that might be helpful. And start in your own teams, start, you know, some type of friendly competition of how many guests people bring, or how many people sign up, or customers created. Then they have the one, you know, their dinner gets paid for or something. And we make our own contests, guys, because, you know, sometimes we need to have that own incentive. And that happened in my team. You know, it was, oh my gosh, I'm the first one that went gold. I'm the one that took them to platinum. I'm the one that went here, you know. And so there was this friendly competition that occurred within my own team. And that's what Dave was talking about, the synergy and the energy that's coming on board. And I just wanted to relay that idea out there.
So I will look for, although I'm presenting, I don't really have time to look for, but if I see your name with, let's see, there's all kinds of symbols in here. Well, I'm sure you can use something from the keyboard. If I see your name with a star or some kind of a symbol after your name, I know that you have guests and on the call. So let's all of you that are on this call, but there's going to be a lot of people that are going to join the call tomorrow who don't know these instructions. So I'm not sure how we're going to pass that down, but I'll look for it. I'll look for your
the other thing, Michael, we could ask people who's a guest.
That's exactly what I was going to do.
Well, and sometimes that puts the guest on the spot, but having the consultant introduce their guest.
Too much time.
Very quickly.
Too much time.
I know,
Yeah,
but
too much time. We got 30 guests.
Yeah.
That's going to take too much time.
When we did
So
wellness previews, we started the meeting and say, "Who's a guest here tonight?" And they'd raise their hands.
they raise their hand. So we're going to ask them to raise their hand. They can raise
Yeah.
their hand using the tool.
They don't have to say anything. They just have to raise their hand, and then they easily identified.
Yeah. Right on. Okay. So does everybody have a good understanding of what's going on here and how you can play? Any other questions?
I'm
Any feed-
excited.
You're excited. Right on, Wes. Anybody else excited? How about some feedback?
It's just makes sense. It's just makes sense. It's just easy easy for us to not worry what we need to do other than bring in the partners.
Yeah.
It's a roadmap, Mike. A roadmap from point A to point B with all the steps in between. We just have to follow them.
Just invite people, guys. It's like a conveyor belt. Just get, when you go shopping, you put it in your shopping cart. You just keep going down the aisle, put it in the shopping cart. That's what you need to do. Start bringing some people to the game. Yeah.
What I really like is I know what I am inviting people to. That's important to me.
I totally agree. That's been a challenge because, like I said, if you're not even sure what to do with somebody, the chances are you're psychologically not mentally looking for somebody to do something with. But if you now have a place to put them, a place to take them, a game that they can play and they can participate in, where the instruction itself is in the playing of the game, they learn as they go. Then now what we do is we eliminate a huge barrier of growth. The time it takes to get somebody to become competent enough to do anything, if you can eliminate that curve, the time, bring it down to next to nothing, now it's just simply get people into the process and you know where it is. It's like when we had a wellness preview, Thursday night wellness preview. We all knew the hotel. We all knew the time it started, and it was just it's bowling night. Bowling night is bowling night. That's where we go. That's what we do, and everybody knew it. Weekend wellness preview, same thing. Didn't have to think about it. Same thing here. There's no real thinking about it. It's just simply inviting people to become part of a narrative. If they like what they see, they help bring other people to the narrative. Let's see. We got Sherry and then Nancy.
Nancy was first.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, so that's how this works. The screens have changed. I don't know if you've noticed that. My screen has completely changed tonight. So Zoom has done something. So Nancy, you first.
Okay. No, my thing is what Dave said about saying, hey, does anyone out there need money? I mean, I'm just thinking I could do a reel or a story or something, just do it and put it out there that way. I mean, do y'all think that's really a way
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Yeah, totally. My daughter is almost exclusively reels. That's how she attracts attention. So yeah.
We'll be looking for it. I don't know how great it'll be, but boy, I'll be enthusiastic.
Just as a word of caution, and I spent a lot of money to get educated on doing social media. It takes time.
Yeah.
You got to be patient, but you got to keep it steady. Just keep it going. So I started off with one every 3 days. Now I'm one every day. Then I'll get to two a day, and it just keeps growing. And I get another follower. I get somebody that likes it. Okay. So I've talked to some people that have 20,000, 100,000, and 1 million. It didn't happen overnight.
Oh, I know.
So be patient.
And don't try to be perfect.
Yes, don't worry about it.
I always say I try to be real.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Be yourself. That's, everybody else is taken. So might as well just be yourself.
Yeah.
So anybody else? Sherry, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think what's going to be really exciting to get this going is that when you have a new person on Thursday night and other people have some new people on Thursday night, there's something very human about hearing someone else talking about their plans and what they're doing, and other people to be able to observe and talk about the social proof think that's what we're leaning towards, but I can get very excited about that, about having a group of that are watching, the others are watching others, mentoring, being mentored about what their goals are. I think that's going to be really exciting.
And
So-
Sherry, you proved that like so many times on you with the product success stories. And on last Wednesday night, the number of people that showed up, the people that wanted to talk about their product, how many people commented after and said, how do I get this information? It becomes contagious.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to create on the business side, because yeah, that's just it.
Just an FYI on that video from last week. It's still in the hopper because I'm waiting for a thumbnail. That was part of my conversation with Jeff today, was how we would streamline. Anyway, he's sent it off to the marketing department. We'll see if they come back with something I can use. But we do this coming Wednesday. This Wednesday is kickoff. Wait, no, sorry. It's Niken Next, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Niken Next?
It
this
is.
Wednesday?
This is Niken Next, so there will not be a Wednesday product call.
Right. So we have a week to sort this out. We'll get it sorted out. Yeah.
One more thing before Karen takes over. So an opportunity popped up last week, Debbie, and then Debbie invited someone on her downline, Veronica, who is flying in from another state and city to Atlanta. So we have a booth tomorrow at a business expo. So the challenge, I'm excited. This is like step it up here, Debbie, right? That we're going to have some products, because you got to have some products. But the challenge is going to be talking about, a statement, a tagline that is speaking to get people attracted to the business. So I plan for us to have lots of new people in the hopper as a result of tomorrow night.
Awesome. Have you got that tagline?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
And the fun thing is that this is, I think about speed dating. This is speed networking. So got to have it succinct, got to have it right, got to make it my own.
Yeah.
So,
but we're also going to have a table. So we'll get some good attention.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Right.
Dr. Karen.
I want to comment on the process. So I've been in Niken for 19 and a half years, and I was never quite comfortable with the process because I look for things that are simple to do, easy to understand, cost effective, time efficient, organized. This has a flow. It's organized. It's very easy for people to follow. So I want to thank you and Dave and anyone else who is involved in this. This is what I've been waiting for.
Ooh-ha.
Ooh-ha, yes.
Terrific.
We've been waiting for it too.
All right, now it's here. We have our homework. I'll send these PDFs before the night's out, and we have a call tomorrow. I will be presenting. Dave will be one of my business testimonials. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow with a guest. Good night, everybody.
Mike.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Back, man.
Good night.
Right on,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Night. Thank you.